the starting quarterback for the Tampa Bay Bucks after their bye week, but just for good measure, they gave former first-round pick Paxton Lynch a workout. And if he doesn't sign with the Bucks, we have another job opportunity for him as the old-school logo Stunta.
Yes!
That's a great tweet by Andrew Siciliano.
That is classic.
He does look just like the logo.
Good.
He's actually a better pirate than he is a quarterback.
He's a very lucky man.
He can do a lot of work in the
Captain Morgan.
That is, man, can't draft a first-round pick at quarterback whose goatee doesn't connect. Like, you just can't.
You just
can't. You just know. Watch it, see. Watch it, see. But I ain't no first-round pick at quarterback. I know where it's going.
No, we got you in the supplemental draft.
Wow.
Stuff comes in supplemental. I was in
No
supplemental.
All right, moving on to what could be a shootout on Sunday. The Falcons taking on the Steelers. Both teams looking for just their second win of the year. Falcons dealing with a rash of injuries. Steelers dealing with a rash of drama. But leave it to Ben Roethlisberger to be the voice of reason, imploring fans not to panic.
Last year we kind of started a little sloppy too. So, you guys can look at record all you want. We're not. We're looking at this next week and trying to get a win because that's really all that matters. I'm glad that this, if this has to happen, it's better to happen early in the season than middle or late this season.
All right, Canty, who needs this win more this weekend, Falcons or Steelers?
Well, both of them need it because the division leaders in their respective divisions are 3-1. So you don't want to be in a situation where you fall 3 games behind the division leader because you're pretty much out of the race at that point. So I'm looking at this game.
And they lost the head-to-head already in one of those matchups.
In one of those matchups, yeah. So that's big. So, I mean, you're looking at it and saying that this is a gotta-have-it for both of these teams. And when we look at it, both of the defenses are awful, right? They're giving up around 30 points a game. So it's a question of whose offense and, more importantly, whose quarterback do you trust the most? And for me, that's clearly Matty Ice over Ben Roethlisberger to this point. I mean, Matty Ice, 68% completion percentage, 1,300 yards, 10 touchdowns to 2 interceptions versus Big Ben, who's 64% completion percentage, 1,400 yards, 8 touchdowns to 5 interceptions.
5 picks.
He's got to take care of the football, and that's been the one knock on Ben Roethlisberger. Sometimes he'll throw the defense some. So I'm looking at this game and saying, I trust the Falcons and what they're doing offensively and what they're trending towards under Sark now, more so than what the Pittsburgh Steelers are doing.
A key point there, Steve Sarkisian, the offensive coordinator, we know that they had communications from Kyle Shanahan when he went to San Francisco, Matty Ice, him, Sark getting on the same page. I spent some time with them down there. That's a huge point that you're making there. A lot better in Sark's second year. He's also changed about 30% of the old stuff that they used to do. So now it's kind of a collaboration between the two of them on game day. Matty Ice is very, very comfortable, and Sark is more comfortable. They're in a different position, even from a locker room standpoint, than Pittsburgh, because almost they're virtually in the same spot. But Atlanta, the only reason why they're here is because they didn't make critical plays in the red zone. They make a play every game. They're undefeated. They're not bickering. They're actually happy. They got a bunch of injuries. Pittsburgh, on the other hand,
got issues.
They got locker room issues. They're starting to point the finger. They got one of their better players. Told the offensive lineman he's going to be coming back. And, excuse me, I'm not going to be coming back. So I believe where they're at is a different point. Atlanta has far more confidence. The only reason why they're struggling is because, man, they have so many injuries on the defensive side. They can't put a pass rush. They can't stop you from running the ball. They can't get off the field on third down. They can't stop you in the red zone. So
their defense is as bad as it gets for the Falcons right now. And your point that they're both potentially 3 games back in the division, with the Falcons having already lost to the Saints and the Steelers having already lost to the Ravens. Who needs it more? The answer is this is a must-win game for both teams. Whomever loses this game, I believe you can write off, which is crazy considering I thought the Steelers were going to go to the Super Bowl.
And Katie thought the Falcons were going to the Super Bowl.
Well, at least the Falcons have an excuse, right, with all of the injuries. What's the Steelers' excuse?
Exactly right. And that's why the locker room feel is different. The Falcons know, man, we've been so close and unlucky. The Steelers know, we've just been bad. And things were supposed to do well. All of a sudden, Antonio Brown is having the lowest catch percentage of his career, the lowest yards per catch since he has become the featured guy. I think a lot of that traces back to not having Le'Veon Bell. A lot of that traces back to the defense being able to go into every week saying, we know Antonio Brown's going to get his 6 to 10 catches, but we're not going to let him get 140 yards. We're not going to let him kill us that way. And so you're in a situation right now where the Falcons at least know exactly who they are. You're going to have to double Julio. Calvin Ridley looks like a star first-round pick who is taking advantage of the double coverage on Julio Jones. Meanwhile, the Steelers, I don't know if they know who they are right now. Since the Week 1 performance, which was great by James Conner, since then, they have the worst running game in football. Compare that to the Falcons. What was their story in Week 1? Red zone troubles once again. After Week 1, they scored touchdowns on 11 consecutive red zone possessions, a streak that was broke midway through the game last week. They have been fixing some things while the Steelers have been stalling out. So even though both of them only have one win, they got to this place at the quarter pole of the season very differently.
Yeah, all one-win teams aren't created equal, right? And when you see what Calvin Ridley has done the last 2 weeks, 5 touchdown receptions, and what Julio Jones has done through the first quarter of the season, on pace for 2,000 yards. This is a Falcons offense that feels like it's starting to turn the corner, even without Devonta Freeman. They have the balance with Tevin Coleman in the backfield. So Matty Ice is finding a way to distribute it to all of the different weapons. And it seems like he's more comfortable in terms of what Stark is doing play calling wise. So I know the Falcons are going to score some points. It's just a matter of what the Steelers are going to do offensively and if Big Ben is going to be able to take care of the football.
We wondered when we found out that Le'Veon Bell might be coming back to Week 7, Week 8, the question was asked, can they at least make it to Week 8 and still be in it so that when he does get back, they'll just be able to hit the ground running? And it seemed like the collective answer was, yeah, they'll be fine. They'll be in it. They're going to be in it with everyone else until he gets there. But something feels like it's changed in the last week or two.
One of the things that's changed is Big Ben in the fourth quarter has been awful. Matt Ryan has been arguably the best fourth quarter quarterback in the league. Big Ben, here's his fourth quarter rankings. Completion percentage, dead last. Yards per pass, dead last. Passer rating, dead last. So when you don't have your star running back and your star quarterback in the fourth quarter of these games is playing his worst football, there's not a recipe to win. And when, by the way, you've turned the ball over more than every team in the league except for one, very hard to win football games that way.
Yeah, look at the quarterback matchup that Matty Ice has had. Week number 1, he's going Nick Foles, but Super Bowl champions on ring night. Week number 2, they go against Cam. Week number 3, he's got Drew Brees. Week number 4, he's got a cupcake. No, he's got Andy Dalton and the Cincinnati Bengals. They got that offense geared up. So now facing Ben, man, this defense with all the injuries, look at the quarterbacks that they face. So you shouldn't be surprised based on the injuries, but also who they face, why this defense is one of the worst in the league.
And one thing about the Falcons, if you look at their schedule, a lot of home games in the first half of the season. They're on the road a lot in the second half of the road games. You know you've got to win some of them. This is a road game that you can get against a struggling Pittsburgh Steelers team.
Yeah, they ain't no home field advantage there. They got too much distracting the fans there in Atlanta at that stadium.
Too nice of a stadium.
Got a whole long thing.
Man, they got rappers, they got food.
Chris, thank you so much. We'll see you next week. Have a great weekend, everyone.
They do this sway thing too, man.
We're coming back.
Oh, yeah, that too.
Coming up next, Tom Brady enters the record book with his newest target next summer.
They keep me young and everything, man. I'm trying.
Nobody.